As Tennessee businesses and residents continue to buckle under property tax increases, the state of Tennessee continues to dole out millions, tens of millions, to lure in big companies to the mid-state.
Well, case in point, Starbucks recently got $30 million to locate a headquarters here in Nashville. Now, as long as they live up to some promises, they'll get all that money. But as Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier shows us, some say these incentives are no longer needed.
A big corporate handout while beloved local businesses close. This is happening right now in Nashville. And when small business suffers, what we do for big business comes under scrutiny.
The state of Tennessee has worked hard to bring big business to the state. In the past 8 years, the state has given 570 companies an estimated $758 million in tax dollars through the FastTrack grant program. The idea is these big companies bring great jobs and give a huge economic boost. But for many critics, the days of needing new businesses to come to the Nashville area is over. Pamela Furr from Americans for Prosperity.
Tennessee is a great state to live in. Tennessee has low taxes. We have, overall, the state has low taxes. We have no state income tax. We have values here that make people want to raise their families here. So why are we giving them, anybody, a tax incentive to move here?
The Beacon Center agrees. If Tennessee has worked so hard to create a pro-business environment, why not let that stand as the reason to move here?
But what we don't need to do is invite those businesses here and then force someone else to cover the infrastructure costs and those kinds of things. We should have a level playing field. If you're a business, you should pay your share of taxes, but you shouldn't have to pay a higher share because you're a small business and don't have the lobbyists and the gravitas to get things like TIFs and pilots and other tax benefits.
But that is exactly what's happened. The Starbucks and the Oracles and the Amazons get big money. $30 million for Starbucks right now, while some of our popular small businesses break under the strain. Verallo's Chili Parlor, Burger Up, the pioneer of 12 South, just a couple. The iconic Acme Feed and Seed, barely hanging on. Other businesses are barely keeping the doors open. We asked the Department of Economic and Community Development, why is it still necessary to offer incentives for companies that come to a state with so many natural incentives to build on? Low tax, low regulatory interference. No one from that department responded. The state of Tennessee does have a clawback provision that if these big companies don't deliver what they've promised, they have to pay back a portion or all of the incentive money. How's that going? According to the Department of Economic and Community Development, it is mostly successful. Of the 71 projects that resulted in clawbacks, 53 companies have repaid the required amounts in full, leaving 18 outstanding cases. The department says it's continuing to actively pursue. The Beacon Center argues taxpayers shouldn't be responsible for any part of that equation.
What if they go belly up? We've seen that happen. We've seen companies entirely close after they've received incentives. Well, they've spent that money. You can't get that money back. And so that's what it's a gamble on the part of politicians to give these big corporate welfare handouts to companies to relocate here when that's not what is attracting them to come here in the first place.
ECD Commissioner Stuart McWhorter did not respond to our request for an interview. We are not surprised because his office didn't even answer all of our written questions. Americans for Prosperity says they have their own answer to corporate incentive packages.
Corporate welfare is not beneficial, in our opinion, to taxpayers in the state of Tennessee. Again, it's a great state. Why do you need an incentive to move here? We are a hot state. People are moving here all the time without an incentive to be here, except for good living.
We have requested the signed agreement between Starbucks and the state. We would also like to know the exact dollar figures on how many clawback dollars remain outstanding. We'll keep asking. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.